Alright. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or good night. My name is Rissa Amelia Ramadani, and today I'd like to present about my essay, which is titled "The Backlash Against Feminism and How It Is Looked Down Upon Despite Years of Progress." So we start with feminism, with its history and goals. So there's 4 waves to feminism, and all of these waves have the same goal in achieving better living conditions for women of all kinds. Like, for example, the first wave of feminism started because women didn't have the rights to vote in Rome, and the women protested until they were able to be given voting rights. So some of the accomplishments that was achieved from women from all of these 4 stages of feminism is voting rights, equal pay law, and social awareness. So for voting rights, back then women weren't able to vote. It was only for men because they weren't seen as in the same social standing and they didn't have that much value. Second was equal pay law. A woman could have worked harder than a man, and they would still be paid less than men. After many protests, women were able to be granted this law from J.F. Kennedy. Third is social awareness. Now, with more women protesting about this inequality between men and women, they're able to gain more social awareness, not from just women but also men, in order to understand their struggles. Second is, why is feminism looked down upon? So it starts with misinformation and misinterpretation. Like, people seem to misunderstand the meaning and goals for feminism, and especially with the rise of social media, it's way easier for people to misinterpret the goals of feminism. Since people take informations from social media with face value, it's way easier for them to spread misinformation. Second, there is patriarchal influence in different cultures. Now, I'm not saying all cultures teaches women and men to be patriarchal, but there are some cultures that deeply root in patriarchal studies. Now, some of these cultures have these outdated views for women, and with these old views, especially with people who are very deep in their culture, they're indoctrinated with these old views, and they start to grow up with these views, which affects the woman, not only the woman in their culture, but also the woman outside their culture, because again, they're behaving from a learned thing, from something they've learned since they were little, and it takes a long way for them to fix this indoctrinated view. Third is the rise of anti-feminist movement. So it starts with the distortion of feminist goals. For example, men's rights activists shift their focus from gender equality to male victimhood. Why they think so? They think women, especially feminists, want men to be in a different standing. They think that feminists want women to be higher standing than men, which is not the case. Feminists strive for equality. That's the main thing. Equality. So, with men rights activists, distortion of these feminist goals is more men tend to be misinformed, and they start joining in the bandwagon for hate with these extremist ideologies that men rights activists spread. Second is social media's role in spreading anti-feminist movement. Like I said earlier, it's way easier for misinformation to be spread throughout social media because how easy it is, and people would take things at face value without researching if it's right or not. Even though if there is some that would try, that's not a big amount of people who would do that. Especially with memes and articles, rumors, it spreads a bad rumor towards feminism, which downplays the actual goals of them. So the consequences of feminism being looked down upon is like the normalization of sexism and discrimination. Like I said earlier, with more like memes, articles about anti-feminist movements, people start to be decentralized on how bad it is people treat feminism, and they think it's normal, even though it's not. Dismissal of feminist issues as in complaining or overreacting, because they're so used to it after all of these years, and now women are starting to complain about it. They think that we're weak, even though it's not. It's a sign of progression. Second is slower progress in achieving gender equality. Now, even though there's laws now about equal pay, there's still a wage gap, and there's representation in leadership and lack of access to education in some regions, especially in regions that aren't modernized and still put importance in the men getting education first, and the women who are forced to do the housework, chores, and cook and clean. Last is reclaiming the true meaning of feminism. So we used the education as a tool for change. So what I mean by this is we can start teaching kids, yes, both boys and girls, the true meaning of feminism at a young age. Because, like for example, in cultures they've adopted like old views against women, patriarchal. But with us teaching these the actual views of feminism at a young age in school, they're able to learn a good view upon women at a young age and not have this twisted view of it. And feminism as a movement for everyone. So not only feminism benefits women, but it also benefits men. One example of this is, since women want equal work, they want to work as hard as a man and get paid like a man, or like have equal pay. The stigma for toxic masculinity, where men have to be the breadwinner in the house, gets shattered. Because why? The woman can also work. It doesn't have to be the man that handles all the burden. It also helps men be able to be more like themselves than be this perfect human being that men each other have forced onto themselves. Last is strategies to promote feminism positively. So we can gather people from different backgrounds, different places, to advocate for feminism and show like their different views of experiences during discrimination and how they fought it, and also spread more information about feminism through social media. Now there's quite a few social media posts that promote feminism positively, but it seemed to not have a big approach yet, or like not a big positive view. So I think like we can try integrating them in more easier ways for people to handle, such as in memes, articles, or videos, funny videos that people can watch, so people are able to learn about feminism positively in a more casual way, so it starts getting to them slowly but surely. Now that is all from my presentation. Thank you for listening in, thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention. Goodbye.